Sound, a group of
from the beginner to the professional, from the novice to the master, from playing and experimenting to create a masterpiece. These are all the elements of art. And on this show, our art is sound. Hi, I'm LV Smith, host of the show Sounds Within, and I got my bud back in. I got my bud because he got me inspired to really consider becoming a songwriter, but I'm working too hard trying to play every dad burn day. So eventually I'll write every dad burn day. But I couldn't have a better person to motivate me better than my brother from the North Side, Brian Skinner. How are you again, brother?
I'm doing well. Yes, sir. Every dagburn day.
Every dagburn day, man. Well, you opened up a can of worms, but these are worms for really to nurture us into songwriting. And a lot of people do songwriting for various things. Like I remember a group called Fear. They did a song which really motivated me a lot because it was obscene. But when they scream, "I don't care about you," I go, something visceral hit me there.
Yeah.
It just hit me.
Yeah.
So that made me start to think, songwriting is songwriting. Part of a healing, a catharsis when one does so.
Yes. Marvin Gaye. I think about him. Holy cow. I mean, I think healed a nation with some stuff that he wrote. So many folks have went down that road and went deep in here.
So that's going to be our theme today. Songwriting as healing or catharsis to really open up, see what is really, truly going on there, what's happening.
Yeah.
So have you ever you mentioned before about how songwriting saved you. You care to go into that?
Sure. I'd love to. I'll try to make it quick. I was a firefighter, wildland firefighter. I went into firefighting to help people. And I can help people. If you have a fire, I can help you. If you drop dead, I can help you. If you chop your arm off, I can help you. Car crash, I can help you. All of those things, I can help you. And I did for years, and it was great. I helped a lot of people. I was on a team that cleaned up people that ended their life. And I helped them, and I helped their family by taking care of business there. None of that affected me. But when I went to Southern California and just saw devastation after devastation after devastation after devastation, my worst call was a woman came to our fire engine and said, "Hey, were you in this neighborhood?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "Do you remember a little red house on a corner of such and so?" And I said, "No, I don't remember it." And she dropped to her knees and just was bawling because I made it sound like she lost her house. I remember there being nothing in that whole neighborhood, but I don't remember her house specifically. And that affected me because I could not help her. I cannot help if you've just lost everything. I cannot help you. People in Florida right now are losing everything. People in, all these big major fires, if you've never seen the destruction that happens and seen the folks that are going through it, it's really hard. Well, that started working on this up in here on me and this in here. And how songwriting helped me is I was able to go in here and start writing about what hurt and what it was. I haven't been able to get to a place where I can write the song about this woman. One of these days, it takes a lot of courage to go in there. And it's not something to be afraid of, but it's something that you have to have courage to go in there and go to the dark places and write about the things that are the things that really bother you. I was in I like to say I flushed the toilet on my life and the toilet was spinning, and it wasn't until it got clogged up by a young woman that helped me do a co-write. And I realized she gave me permission to write about the dark things. And I'm right now, I want to give everybody permission to write because that's a huge thing. So I started writing, and I write now to make myself feel better. I play music to make myself feel better. And those are things that I do. And I found that going in there changes everything and makes things better. Hopefully I can push that out so somebody else can enjoy that or also glean some better off of something that I've written.
You mentioned something about co-writing.
Mm-hmm.
Will you please expand on that?
Co-writing is taking an idea and sitting down with somebody else and writing a song together. And it could be the co-write that I did that saved my life. This woman had a song that was half written, didn't know anything about fire, but it was about fire. She had lost her home when she was a little girl. So I told her about fire and we co-wrote a song.
Great, great, great. Well, can we hear a song that has been co-written with you?
I have a song called Hope that the world co-wrote with me, I like to say, because it's me and the world. And I wrote it in a downtime, and it's got no words, but it's got chords, and it's called Hope. The song's called Hope.
Let's hear Hope by Brian Skinner, folks. Take it away.
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Hey, it's Amin L. And Thursday night is live with Jeff Hodge. Come on down and check him out.
Oh, that's heartfelt music. The spirit of John Davis and heartfelt music, that's heartfelt music. Brian, that's gorgeous. What inspired you to write that?
Boy, a couple years ago, our nation went into a dark place, I think. And all together, we all kind of started turning on each other. And I just sat down with my guitar and just started playing. One nice thing about playing every day is that you get to play things sometimes you've never actually put together before. That came together and I just kept it. And it just that playing that gave me hope. And I said, I'm going to try to pass that hope on to others.
Love it. Loved such heartfelt music.
Thank you.
You meant we're starting to touch on a theme called co-writing. Now, you mentioned that when we think co-writing, what you were saying is you sit along along with another person like Lennon, McCartney getting together, or Holland or Dozier from Motown. And this time it wasn't direct. So would you clarify, what do you mean by co-writing?
It wasn't when I was sitting with McCartney and all those guys. We sit a lot, but we don't write a lot. We don't sit together. I'm kidding. No, I was in a restaurant and there was a couple behind me, and a woman probably about 30 and her mother, and they were talking, and the woman was basically talking about the fact that mom can't come over anymore because she screams at the kids and she yells profanity and just all this stuff. And I came to the conclusion that she was strung out and really just a mess. I think alcohol and drugs. She mentioned both of them. And while they were talking, I was just, as sounds rude, but I was taking notes. I call it informal writing. What I hear, what I was hearing, I started writing notes down and turned that into a song. That's a co-write, a type of co-write. They don't know they co-write it, and I don't know who to give the credit to because I got up and left after having my coffee. But a lot of co-writes you'll see have credit designations. You know, if you help me co-write a song, then if it goes big and Garth Brooks starts singing it, then we split the profits. So I don't know who to split it with because I don't know them.
Okay, what they don't know won't hurt them.
That's right.
So what you're saying, there's a formal co-write where two people mutually get together to put together a project. And then what is the other?
It's informal. I call it informal. Informal co-write. Might be conversation we're having and I'm just taking notes as we're having the conversation, or mentally taking notes of something that I heard. And it's another way of prompting writing.
In other words, a lot of songs have been co-written and they don't know it.
Don't even know it.
Jeez, that is sly. That is very sly. So was there a catharsis happening with that conversation which made you write, when you just saying, hey, I'm picking up on this? And
yeah. Yes, it was extremely sad. What I was hearing was extremely sad. And I was thinking to myself, this woman treats her daughter horribly. And there's no way that she had a child and then just said, I'm going to have a child so I can treat it horribly. And what had happened was the drugs and alcohol had gotten hold of this person, and then they weren't themselves anymore. And nobody wants to do that. And she was begging, I believe, for forgiveness and help and what would a normal relationship with a daughter look like, is what I heard in the conversation, which is what I tried to portray in the song that I wrote.
Wow. And so you basically wrote a song about a dysfunctional or slightly broken to be family happening to share what was happening, which was broken, to turn it to something, bring it as a healing process.
Yes. One of the first persons, once I wrote the song and did a scratch recording of it, I sent it to a friend of mine who lives down by you in LA. And I said, does this song make sense? Because it's almost a two-person song. And about 2 hours later, she sent me a message back that said she was crying and understood what was going on with her and her mom, and what her mom was probably trying to say to her through her whole life. And I had didn't even consider her. I don't know her that well. I don't know her mother and her relationship, but it sounds like the song spoke to her. And it's kind of hopefully people will listen to it and go, oh, I have to forgive them because it wasn't them.
That is so touching. Could you perform that song?
I'd love to. It's called Forgive Me.
Folks, we're going to hear Forgive Me by Brian Skinner.
As I sit and stare at the walls and ceiling, reminded of a time not long ago. Only the clock and my heart beating. There's some things I wish you would know. This house is lonely without you. This house is lonely without you. I need you here to fill it up with love. This house is lonely without you, lonely without you, lonely without you in it. This house is lonely. You're back with me and I still feel alone. Lying next to you, we're still miles away. Thoughts of life without you chills me to the bone. There's some things I still need to say. This house is lonely without you. This house is lonely without you. I need you here to fill it up with love. This house is lonely without you, lonely without you, lonely without you in it. This house is lonely. I look at this separation. I see it's been my designation. I've created a wall between us two. It's me who's grown apart from you. This house is lonely without you, lonely without you, lonely without you, lonely without you in it. This house is lonely. This house is lonely without you, lonely without you, lonely without you in it. This house is lonely. This house is lonely. This house is lonely, lonely. This house is lonely.
Hey everybody, my name's Peg, and we are Ohm, and this is
Chris Poland, Gene McEwen.
And you are watching Anybody Can Play Guitar by James Jones.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you?
You know you do.
Yeah,
But I don't know where to start.
that's why we're here. We're free, handsome,
Oh, I think we're breathtaking.
and here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. I got this. Is that Bran? Colleges love extracurricular activities.
Chess really isn't my thing.
I got this. Doesn't matter. Go ahead. Picking a college, man. You and us. Go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.
Fire and ice.
Those don't really go together.
Go to getschool.com for more info.
Forgive me. That's a heavy, especially for those, some of us who had some very trying times in years past. And people say, well, that was so long ago or whatever. Like that says, no. Still going through that. So yes, yes. Very deep, very moving. And
I hope that folks can find a way to forgive folks that hurt them through that song. That's what the final result of the song is for me. That's my goal.
It's definitely easier when the violating group asks for forgiveness.
Yes.
I mean, ask, but
Yes.
like it's much challenging if they don't. But that's something else. We're going to move on back to the healing aspect, which this does help. This segment does really help me, this particular production. Now, you mentioned there is formal co-writing and then there's informal. Is there anything that goes in between?
With co-writing, sometimes it's something that somebody does or is has such an impact maybe that to me it's almost co-writing. I don't know what you could informal maybe, or like a two ends. I don't know. But where something happens and you are or you're going through something and that thing can be the co-write, and sometimes it makes it easier to write if you think about the tree that you're trying to write a song about as the co-writer of the song. And it's like, what's that trying to say to me, or what's happening right now? And what do I hear? Those kinds of things.
So it sounds like it can be something in the form of brainstorming with another person.
Brainstorming with another person is what it boils down to. That's formal for sure. We're sitting down, LV and I sit down and we start talking about a topic. And a lot of times it's just talking about a topic brings together a thought process that can bring together a song. It's a great way for new songwriters to start writing.
Now, you mentioned name. Is that your significant other?
I have a significant other. So I have a beautiful wife named Ginger, and she is the most wonderful thing on the planet. She keeps me sane, drives me keeps me. I have clothes on when I leave the house normally because of her, thank goodness. And her and Adderall, if it wasn't for those two, I don't know if I'd make it. But she's pretty important to me. I like her a lot and love her tons. And most wonderful thing, July 28th, 1990. This ring is a symbol of our love and faithfulness. 100 years. Luckiest thing that ever happened to her. I tell her every day.
Love it.
I don't know if it works, but she's still here.
Then it's working.
There
now
you
you
go.
mentioned something you were brainstorming, or something was to be shared and something happened.
Yes. She got a job, and that job moved her to Salt Lake City, Utah for 2 weeks out of the month. They wanted her there all the time. She's like, I'm not going to do that. And she was pretty important to the operation of this company. And they said, okay, then we want you there 2 weeks out of the month. And it was kind of cool because I would fly out on the middle weekend, and I found a community of musicians in Salt Lake City who are fabulous. Like a bunch of names for you that you could do some talking to. They're fun people, and played music on weekend when I was there, and got to visit with my wife. And then I would come home, and then she would come home and stuff. But so that was what was happening. It was hard time. I like her. Like having her around when she was gone 2 weeks out of the month. And it was just something that had to happen at that time.
Wow. And you said a song came out of that.
Yes. The house became lonely. I didn't become lonely. Me and the house were lonely together. And it was like just a lonely time when she wasn't there. And it was weird because there's a line in there talking about the clock. Mm-hmm. And we had a clock that I never heard ever before until she left. And then I was sitting there one day and it's this clock was going dong, 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 tick tock, and it was extremely loud. I'm like, that clock is something wrong with it? And then go over, just a battery operated clock. But without her there, it was incredibly loud. And there's a line in there that says, only thing that I'm hearing is my clock and my heart beating. That was it.
Reminds me of a Laurie Lewis song, You Don't Miss Your Water Till Your Well Runs Dry.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, we have this demon called time. It ain't no friend, but it does not end our relationship and our getting back together. Extend you another invitation, come back where we can carry on with more songwriting suggestions and things. I also hear you got a group on Facebook. You can always invite people go to.
Yeah. Yes. It's a kind of just a songwriters encouragement group, and it's basically come here and share your song is basically what it is. The name has left me, but if you friend me on Facebook or find me on Facebook and message me, Brian Skinner Music, I'll send you an invite and we'll get your music on there. Anybody. It's just a fun place and it's a safe place. You write something that's goofy and it's a place where if I see something that's not appropriate, like that's a great song, then it's a safe place to come and check out. A place to give your stuff out.
Okay, so you just left that door to be shut, unfortunately, but we want you back. What are you going to take? Yeah, I can't wait for you to come back, but I want to extend now. What are you going to take us out with?
I'm going to take you out with a song called This House.
This House. Folks, you have watched another edition of Sounds Within. Thank you again, Brian. Do come back.
Thank you. I'd be honored.
I'll be honored too. So, folks, until we meet again, this is L.B. Smith, Sounds Within. You come on back then. Peace all.
I remember every time you hurt me. I remember every time you made me cry. Forgive me, baby, that's not me. I remember every time you hurt me. Every time you laid your hands on me. Forgive me, baby, I'm not me. All the pain is clouded, my memories of your love. Little pills, the anger and the bottle have such a hold on you. They really have a hold on me. I remember every time you hurt me. Every word, everything you've done. Remember, baby, I'm not me. Though I want to, I'm in so deep. The real me would never act that way. The real me would never say those things, not me. No, not me. I remember every time you hurt me, every word, everything you've done. Forgive me, baby, that's not me. Put it down, put it all away. I need to have a conversation with you today. Forgive me, baby, I'm not me. Forgive me, baby, I want to change. Though I want to, I'm in so deep. The real me would never say those things. The real me would never act that way, not me. No, not me. I remember when I held you close. I remember when your smile melted me. Kisses oh so sweet. I long to hold you, I beg for forgiveness. The me I've become is killing me too. What's killing you is killing me too. Forgive me, baby, I'm not me. Forgive me, baby, I'm not me. Forgive me, baby, I'm not me.
Wow.